Hi everybody, this is Charles Kim from the K Group Real Estate, and today I'm going to talk to you about the housing market. In this episode, we're going to talk about the housing market, and the question is, will the housing market crash in 2022? A lot of people are asking that question. Now, before we go on, if you can please smash that like button, subscribe to my channel, and then hit that notification bell so that you can stay up to date with my newest videos. So in this episode, we're going to compare the market between how it used to be back in 2005 and 2008 versus today, 2021, and then give you a good idea on where the market is headed based on historical data and mistakes that we've made in the past. This is a great video if you want to know about how the housing market is going to be next year. I'm going to talk about 6 factors why the housing market is not going to crash, or it's not going to be like it used to be back in 2008. And we're going to go back in time to look at the market, how things used to be early 2000s, and to what caused the market crash in 2008. So reason number 1 on why the housing market is probably not going to crash is looking at the mortgage lending industry. It's not easy to just get a loan like how it used to be back in 2005. And the mortgage standards have significantly changed. And today, there's a lot less subprime mortgages. There are some, but not a lot. And a lot of lenders won't even give you a no-doc loan. If you don't know what happened back in 2008, if you look at the market and mortgage industry back then, we had this thing called no-doc loan. So basically, whatever you stated is the income that you made. Whatever you stated was the asset that you had, which is crazy because it's like, I'm gonna give you money, can you tell me about yourself? And whatever they told the lender said, okay, I'll believe it, and here's your interest rate. It might be a little bit high because it's a little risky, but sure, I'll give you a loan. And people were doing this left and right, and they were pulling mortgages like it was like nothing, like opening up a credit card basically. And because of that, you can understand why the housing market crashed, because everybody was lying on their mortgage applications. Even the banks were like not even asking the questions. So then people had loans with no money to back up that mortgage. So a good way to get an understanding of why that happened is to watch this movie called The Inside Job. It was produced by Charles Ferguson back in 2010. I'll put the link in the description under my video, so please click on that link and watch that video. It's free. You can actually have the entire movie on YouTube. So it's an excellent video that shows what led to 2008 financial market crash, and it's mainly because of deregulating the financial industry. Like, the banks could do anything they want in terms of coming out with the different loan packages. The government did not regulate the financial market, and that's what really caused the financial crash. And another movie that you should really watch is called The Big Short, produced by Paramount Pictures in 2005. And that's a good movie that kind of helps you understand the mortgage industry, of why these subprime mortgages kind of dominated the market and how that led to the collapse as well. So between those 2 movies, I'll give you all the background that you need to understand the difference between what the market is now and what it used to be. It's completely different, so you cannot compare what it used to be back in 2005, 2006 that led into the 2008 recession. And the reason number 2 why this market is completely different is if you look at the CARES Act, part of the COVID pandemic relief, there was a mortgage forbearance program. That mortgage forbearance program allowed homeowners to better structure their loans so that they can get a little bit of relief instead of going into foreclosure. According to CoreLogic, which is the industry standard for housing data, they said that this year we're expected to have around 200,000 foreclosures across the United States. Now compare that to back in 2008, we had 6 million foreclosures, so that's a significant number. So you can tell that's a huge difference between what it used to be and what it is today. However, some of the foreclosure numbers are a little bit deceiving today. Because of the mortgage forbearance program, some of those numbers have been muted, so they're not being reported. So we will see some of that number starting to increase a little bit. Today, we are at around 3.7% in terms of number of serious delinquencies, those are 90+ days of delayed payments. And in August of last year was actually the peak of the foreclosure percentage. So we are actually seeing a decline in the number of foreclosures, serious delinquencies. And in fact, before the pandemic started, the average delinquency, serious delinquency percentage was 1.2%. So we're about 3 times higher than the average, but now we're starting to see that number is starting to go down already. So I'll put the links to CoreLogic information down below my video as well, so feel free to click on those and learn more about that. Reason number 3, the housing market is probably not going to crash is because homes have so much equity in them compared to what it used to be back in 2008. So many home prices have gone up over the time, and since the recession, a lot of people have not really sold their homes. They ended up just keeping it, just staying put. And so over time, over 15, 20 years, the home equity has started to increase significantly. So today, people are sitting on a lot of equity in their home, and that's going to provide a huge cushion or buffer if there is any kind of financial crisis in the market. And the reason number 4, the housing market is probably not going to crash is because the mortgage interest rates are so low right now. It's 2.875. That's the historic lowest it's ever been in many, many years, maybe ever. And that rate is kind of just staying down low because Federal Reserve is saying, we can't raise the rates until we see some increase in the market. And right now, at 2.875, conventional 30-year mortgage, you're going to have a lot of buyers motivated to put their money down into a house. Everybody is trying to buy. There's so many buyers, first-time home buyers, trying to get a home because this is a great opportunity. Although home prices are high, at the same time, interest rates so low that it kind of evens out. That is the number 1 factor into why the housing market is so hot right now. Because a lot of times you can get a house and pay the mortgage and it's going to be the same as paying for the rent. So, why not build up your equity and get some tax benefits of owning a home as opposed to renting? The reason number 5 why the housing market is strong right now is because of low inventory. And of course, this is caused by the number of home buyers due to the low mortgage rate. So then now there's nothing to buy because everybody's buying out whatever's out there. But at the same time, the sellers are not able to move because if you're a seller, a lot of times people are either trying to downsize, like the baby boomers are trying to downsize, and also people who are like kind of the millennials are trying to upsize. So they can't sell their home unless they see something they like to buy. So if there's nothing that you want to buy, then they don't want to sell. So they're kind of like, what comes first, a chicken or egg, right? So then people are just kind of sitting still and not really selling. And the reason number 6 why the housing market is probably not going to crash is because the economy is coming back really quickly. And we are expected to return back to normal in January of 2022. So in conclusion, all this means is that the market is still strong and it's not going to crash overnight. There may be a correction because of some of the foreclosures that's going to be hitting the market that have not been documented because of the forbearance program. However, overall, the market is steady. So you'll probably see average of 3 to 5% increase in the home prices, which is pretty much normal. And hopefully we'll get back to that maybe in 2 to 3 years from now. There will also be a shift in the types of home and where people are going to be located. As soon as pandemic hit, people wanted to move out into the suburbs, away from the city, but now it's going to go back where people are moving back to the urban areas and back into the city, and that's going to be driving up the prices of smaller homes, condos, and townhouses in the urban areas. Which also means that we will see a less demand for larger homes. During COVID, people wanted bigger homes, and all these mansions that used to not sell were selling out like crazy. So now we're going to probably see a reverse trend on that. So it's probably a good idea to sell if you have a large home. And lastly, the mortgage rate is going to eventually come up. And that's going to be the number 1 factor in determining how the real estate market is going to go from here. So to answer the question, will the housing market crash in 2022? The answer is no. And would there be a correction? Yes, there could be a correction, but it's not going to be a crash like it was back in 2008. So there you have it, folks. That is the answer to the questions that a lot of people have been asking me. So I figured I'd make a video to really help my clients, but anybody out there who's asking the same question. The housing market is probably not going to crash in 2022, and it will slow down. But yeah, overall, the housing market is very strong. So once again, if you're interested in staying up to date on real estate trends and market and tips on real estate, please subscribe to my channel, hit that like button and the notification bell, and then stay tuned until the next one. So thank you everybody for watching this video, and I'll see you at the next one. Bye-bye.